that I believe makes a good social worker is the ability to be empathic or to have empathy towards others. And for me personally, there is a pretty fine line between um, when it's appropriate to provide empathy and then when it may be the need to kind of take a step back for further reflection. I would say that I often lead with empathy when I'm working with clients or even just in my personal life. However, are also moments where I at times will need to kind of do a little bit of further reflection just to kind of assess whatever the situation is that I am faced with. Patience. And I think that both the field of social work as well as the field of behavior analysis, you have to have patience. No matter what environment or no matter what population you are serving, it is important to be patient. I say for myself, I'm way more patient in my work life than I am in my personal life. And I have a lot more tolerance in my professional life than I do as well in my personal life. So I think it's super important to practice patience. I specifically work with children, so I have no choice but to be patient and work with them through whatever kind of concerns they're having at the moment. But I believe that patience is key. Caring. That bleeds right into empathy. We have to care about the work we do. We have to be passionate. You have to care about the clients or the individuals that you serve, or going to work will be a battle every single day. I mean, you got to care about what you do. Some people don't, and it shows. And you may affect your job performance or your ability to build rapport and connect with others if you don't care. I know that for me and the work that I do, the individuals that I serve can sniff out the bull, and they know when you don't care, and they know when you're not really there for them, and their families know that as well. So care about your clients and the individuals that you serve, as well as be passionate. Because if you're not passionate about something, then you're better off doing something that you really love than tolerating something temporarily. A great communicator. In the field of social work, we have to usually talk to people, coordinate care with other service providers, as well as document your progress notes or treatment plans, or do assessments, or just coordinate with the individuals on your internal team or your colleagues as well. So you have to be an effective communicator, and you have to know that you need to document everything, okay? Because if it's not documented, it didn't what for all my social workers out there? It didn't happen. So you have to know how to communicate well, and you have to know how to document in a objective manner when appropriate, and also a subjective manner. And always in your documentation, communicating respect and dignity for your clients. Okay. It's being organized. So for me, in my practice, it's always funny because my office is literally always kind of like, I don't want to say like all over the place, but when I'm working, I have papers kind of everywhere, but I know exactly where everything is, and I know exactly which each pile, correlates to in terms of what I'm doing, because I'm often multitasking, honestly. So it's important for you to be organized and kind of know where your files are, know in terms of like your email correspondence and exchanges, having things maybe starred for areas of importance or things that you need to reference frequently. And depending upon your caseload, because let's face it, in reality, a lot of times, if you're not in private practice, you have a pretty high caseload. So it's super important for you to be extremely organized, for you to know, what clients you are seeing, or who's coming in for appointments, or kind of who needs case management, who's on their way out of services in terms of discharge, who's onboarding. So it's super important so that you're not also feeling like you're all over the place, because for me, I have organized chaos with my papers, but I know where everything is and I know how to find everything, and at the end of the day, My desk is nice and clear and tidy, but throughout the workday, I'm working, so don't touch my papers, okay? Because I need to know where my stuff is. Resilient. Oftentimes, we work with populations that are extremely challenging or have some extremely heavy past experiences or trauma. So, not only do you have to be resilient when you're working with these individuals, but also having that ability to turn off work when you leave work. And I know sometimes that is very difficult for us. This day and age, we have email that comes to our phones and all types of correspondence that are in the palm of our hands daily at any time of the day. But you really have to do your best to try to turn it off so that it's not affecting you in your personal life, especially depending upon the type of clients or the population that you serve. It can be extremely heavy stuff. So you don't want that kind of burdening you. You don't want to continuously think about things. And I think as you progress throughout your career as a social worker, you'll be better able to kind of leave work at the door before you go into kind of like your personal life and clocking out per se. It's professionalism. It is extremely important to be familiar with the code of ethics. It is extremely important to always, I'm going to say it again for the people in the back, always be professional. You can have a great relationship with an individual or a family or a company or a service provider, whomever your quote unquote identified client is, but you have to remain professional at all times. So, AKA, know your code of ethics, know about professionalism, know about boundaries, know about dual relationships, etc. Because it happens. And you have to ensure that you are mindful not to let that occur, because then you don't want to jeopardize yourself, you don't want to jeopardize your career, and you don't want to also, jeopardize anything down the line. Especially too, if you're licensed, that can be something that can be taken away from you. So ensure that you are mindful and remaining professional. And I'll just do one last point that I think makes a great social worker is the ability to practice self-care. So it's important that you take time to care for yourself and whatever that may be. I think that there's this ambiguousness about what self-care is, but really it's what it is for you. So just keep that in mind when you're on your journey or in the midst of being a social worker, because you have to care for yourself. And I tell this to the families that I work with: if you can't care for yourself, then you're not going to be able to care for your child appropriately. So, and that's the same for us. Like, if we're not able to care for ourselves, then we can't care for our clients appropriately.